Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with the review for Greenleaf Season 5, Episode 7. It's the 7th day, you guys. Let's get to it, shall we? Well, guess who's alive? Oh, Darius. He made it, you guys. I was like, yay! Darius is not dead. Instead, he was arrested. Seems that Bob has had his cronies arrest him. Said that he was on drugs, he was resisting arrest, and Grace to the rescue, she goes and picks him up. Okay, he thanks her for that. And when they walk out to the car, he tells her that he got to rush off because he got a meeting with the family that knew about Edenville lending. Okay, you want to come along? She says nope, she can't go either. She's trying to get an injunction started, you know, to keep them from tearing down the church for at least a few days before they can sort some things out. Because supposedly Jacob didn't know about the sale of the land to H&H. And speaking of H&H, she got to get over to the church. You know, they supposed to be tearing it down today, 2 o'clock. Bob ain't even here. He acting like it's some big ribbon cutting ceremony, making a big deal. The news media and all that is going to be down there. So she wants to go down that way too. So no, they going to split up and go do what they need to do. Now, speaking of Jacob, we see Thick Neck looking at the family pictures on his phone, you know, reminiscing back down memory lane. Looking at the pictures of the kids when they were little, and then in walks Zora. Zora is pressuring him about her trip to New York. He tells her that she needs to cancel it. But no, she wants to get on up that way. Did you talk to cousin Camille about me staying at the place that the cousin might have a room for her? And he says, yeah, he hasn't had a chance to talk to her yet, you know, but you need to cancel your flight. You know, they're going to call her eventually, but just not right now. It's too much going on. You know how teens can be. She trying to pressure him. She found an apartment in Bushwick. You know, she trying to show him that. And he was just like, look, not right now. You need to cancel that flight or we're going to cancel it for you. You know, she's all upset, storms off. And he was like, look, I'm trying to be nice to you, but you need to be patient. It's a two-way street. Honey, that Zora has no intention of canceling her flight. You know, she goes back to her room and she's trying to convince Sophia to go with her. It would be fun, you know, 2 young girls living their lives in New York. All right. And of course it wouldn't hurt that Sophia has money and she can chip in on the rent, probably take care of the whole thing. So Zora's trying to convince her to come, and Sophia, maybe. That's Sophia all over the place. This child want to go to the school, then she go to the school for the summer, and then she come back home, and now she want to stay at the house with her cousins, and then her cousins ain't gonna be there, so now she might go to New York. Child, she don't know what she want to do. But anyway, over at the church, we got Sidekick Phil, we got Fire Marshal Bill. Okay, that would be Judy, the asparagus. And we got Fernando. You know what? Judy is tired of this. Can y'all get to tearing some shit down? Nothing is happening because Bob has given explicit orders. Do not let anything happen until he gets there. He wants to make some sort of an announcement. So while they're out there, you know, everything getting on their nerves, waiting on it, then here comes Grace and Noah. She walks up to him and she was just like, hey, Fernando, you thought you had me last night, huh? Thank you for lying and getting my boyfriend arrested. They lower the boom on him and say that, yeah, we got an injunction. You guys cannot tear down this church because Jacob did not know that he was selling to H&H. Okay, there was a conflict. They did not reveal that that's who they were selling to under this other company. It's all got to stop now. Okay, Fernando was like, yeah, that's what you think. Okay, Jacob might have known, but I bet you his wife knew. She actually was quite pleased in giving up the property. And I know because I helped her through it. And I was just like, oh. Finally, we finding out exactly what Zora Mama did. All right. So, you know, when he tries to tell Grace that, you know, he come up on Grace real close and she kind of jump at him. And I was like, now, Fernando, that's strike 2. Okay, strike 3 gonna be your ass. Grace don't be playing. When Judy hustles Fernando and Sidekick Phil away, you know, Grace was like, get Jacob on the phone. Let's talk to him about his old hoeing ass wife. So she calls him, you know, and here goes stupid. Oh, yeah, I don't know, Grace. She didn't say anything to me about it. Would she tell you, though? She probably didn't tell you, Jacob, you know, but she was just like, can you confirm with her that she did not know that that was H&H? Yep, I'm calling just right now. Call Zora Mama. She's at the park with old Winky, okay, enjoying his company. And then when she answers the phone and, you know, Jacob was like, yeah, I want to talk to you about something. She's like, does it have something to do with Zora talking about an apartment? She called me earlier about it. And he was like, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But first things first, did you know that the property that you were selling to that company, did you know that they were owned by H&H? And she was like, why? Okay, the minute when somebody asks you why instead of just answering the question, you already know the answer, right? So he was just like, well, because Grace has got an injunction to stop the tear down of the church, but it all depends on whether or not we knew that H&H was owned by the company, or the company was owned by H&H when you sold the property to them. You didn't know that, did you? She was just like quiet on the phone. He was like, Zora Mama, you didn't know, did you? And she was just like, I'm sorry, Jacob. I was just like, that's the nail in the coffin. That old wild ass save Tasha the Skank is about to get her mad, okay? He was just like, oh, okay, well, thanks for letting me know. I just knew for a fact that she was gonna lie. I did not expect her to actually come clean on the whole thing. But I mean, I guess now what you trying to hold on to? The shit is over anyway. But this probably was gonna be it. And he didn't even get mad, because I think he already knew the answer, but he just had to confirm. So anyway, that's that on that. Even though she should have got in way more trouble than that, but I mean, it's water under the bridge now. Now back at the house, Bishop is giving Lady May room service. She's in the bed. She don't look like she's in the mood. He was like, I figured that we could either sit down and mope and mourn about the church, or we could celebrate. She was just like, oh, James, what is there to celebrate? He was just like, it's a new church. It's a new day. It's a new life. Come on, May, get with it. Okay, now Bishop is feeling quite romantical. He got a little gift for her. She was just like, James, what is that? I know that we said that we were going to wait till Flag Day to get married, but I was hoping that this little gift would push the date sooner. She was just like, is that what I think it is, boy? Opened it up. She was just like, Lord, Marie, where did you find it? He said it was in the safe deposit box. So she puts it on and she's looking at it and admiring it and everything. And then she was just like, James, I just want us, if we're going to get married, I want us to be on the same accord. If you refuse to even consider handling the things about that will with Tara, he's like, I know you're not bringing that up right now. Listen, Bishop, we got to do something about it. He was like, what were you thinking? Lady May was thinking that, you know, that property that they have, you know, north of the road, 10 acres. How about we sell that and then we give it to them, and, you know, that'll take care of that, you know. And he was just like, that sounds like hush money to me. No, it's not hush money, but I mean, we got to do something. Wicked City woman Rochelle is not going to let it go. But what Lady May doesn't understand is that any amount of money that they give that family is going to make him look like he's guilty. So we can't give him nothing. Not 1 cent. It's like me admitting that I did something wrong, and I didn't. She was just like, well, then I guess you take this ring back. I guess we get married on Flag Day then, since you want to be like that. So he picks up this food and puts it back on the tray, covers it up and everything. He was like, you are astounding. And he walks out, and she was just like, James, I didn't mean it. He said, oh, I knew exactly what you meant. Okay. Well, Bishop is so disgusted with Lady May, so he goes downstairs and he sees AJ. Oh, AJ, have you thought about the car? And AJ was just like, yeah, you know, I'm here for it, but I mean, are you okay? Isn't today the day? You know, even AJ don't want to say, when they tear down your church. Bishop was just like, listen, this is the day that the Lord has made, and despite what Bob Whitmore, that Connie, or even that lunatic wife of mine, May, has to say, I will be glad and rejoice in it. Bishop ain't gonna let this little bit of stuff ruin his day. And do you want to get to this car or not? AJ wants to get to the car. And he said, okay, well, I'll meet you down at the stable in 30 minutes. And then when AJ is walking off, he says, son, I'm glad you're here. Oh, I'll tell you, that Bishop is so good to people. He just bless his heart, y'all. Just hurt my heart this episode. Anyway, AJ heads on down to the stable. 30 minutes later, here comes Bishop on his golf cart. you know, and he laughs when he sees that AJ ain't even opened the box yet. He says, is that as far as you got? That's about as far as I've been able to get this whole time. Yeah, we know that. It's still in the box, Bishop. AJ is a little nervous about fooling with this car, and Bishop was like, well, you know what? Let's pray about it. You know, give us some strength and courage in this project. AJ looks a little uncomfortable, so Bishop was just like, you never grew up in church? And he says, no, not really. And he was like, well, you know, you can get saved, you know, and then you won't have to worry about things anymore. And then, you know, AJ was like, well, what exactly do I have to do? And Bishop says, say a simple prayer. Well, AJ is not real comfortable with doing that right now. Bishop was like, hey, it's okay. There's no pressure. But boy, let me tell you, when you finally do come on over to that other side, it's going to be a great day. You're going to be so happy down in your soul. It's going to be like that smile that you have. It's going to be a smile the size of 10 Grand Canyons. You're going to feel it down in your soul, the warmth of 100 sunsets. But listen, no rush. I'm just letting you know what you got to look forward to. Now, at the same time, Lady May is talking to Tara, and she's telling Tara her idea about this land that she wants to sell and possibly give them the money. Wicked City woman Rochelle is not going to do that. Okay, she's not going to agree to that. And Lady May was like, why not? And she was just like, because she don't even care about the house. She wants Bishop to admit to what he did. Lady May was like, but he didn't do it. Listen, Lady May, with all due respect, my father was the one that was killed. My father's name was the name that was on the will. And Lady May was like, listen, I'm trying really hard. And Tara says, and I'm trying very hard to meet you halfway too. We not really in this together, Lady May. Well, I don't think that this is going to work. And Tara says, yeah, me neither. Now, I forgot to tell you guys that when Grace was at the church and right after she called Thick Neck, Noah came rushing up and said that he found the caretaker. So I said, okay, mark off Bob Whitmore as the, is that his last name, Whitmore? Anyway, mark off Bob as the caretaker. That was one of my theories that I had come up with. Anyway, Noah had found the caretaker, so they're going to go talk to the caretaker. So, you know, Grace was like, I can't believe you found him. And he was like, yeah, it wasn't easy, but, you know, he found him. So they get in there, and, you know, the caretaker's an old white, you know, white man. And he's just telling them how Daryl used to come over there and would always be arguing and fussing and fighting with Loretta all the time. He said it would get so bad that, you know, he would sometimes go over there to make sure that Daryl didn't hit Miss Loretta. And so, you know, they were like, oh, yeah, this ain't a good story. Yeah, it used to be wild, but he used to always be over there. And so then Grace says, well, do you think that Daryl and Loretta were lovers? And he was like, lovers? The Negro? And they were like, yeah, why is that so hard to accept? Because he was black? And he was like, no, I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with him being black. He was like, but, he said, well, I guess this information ain't gonna hurt nobody now. Everybody dead. But yeah, Daryl James was Loretta's son. I said, oh, okay. We was close. I thought that maybe Basie was Daryl and Loretta's son. But okay, Daryl's the son. So it's just like an aha moment for Grace. Not for us though, y'all, because we've been trying to figure this shit out for a season and a half. Back at the house, Charity is sitting with Bishop and they watching the news, okay? And the newscaster is reporting that Bob is coming down to the church tear down, and he's going to announce that he's running for Senate there. So Charity was like, oh, so that's why we having this big old, you know, to-do at the church. He got to make a spectacle of everything. So Lady May comes in and she was just like, what is this you guys are watching? And Bishop was like, I told you, May, the man is pure, unmitigated evil. And she was just like, oh, James, nobody is pure, unmitigated evil. He says, oh, now you're taking up for the man. And she says, no, James, I'm taking up for our God who creates people to be free to make changes in their lives. May wants to see the good in everybody. I'm sorry, I don't think I see it, and Charity doesn't either. Mama, I'm gonna be on Daddy's side on this one. Grace comes rushing in, you know, from her meeting with the caretaker. Bishop was like, did you see what they're doing on the news? And she says, yes, I saw this all over. I heard it on the radio. She said, but listen, I need to tell you guys something. And everybody's listening. She says, Daryl James is Loretta's son. And Bishop looks around and he's like, oh, I should have known. James, why would you have known that? He looked like he want to throw up. And Charity was like, I don't know what I can do to help this, but I'm not letting the church go down without a fight. You know, she's on her way down to the church. I said, girl, you done did enough. What you think you finna do, Charity? But Charity rushes on out.
But anyway, Bishop was just like, call Wicked City Woman Rochelle and Tara and tell them to come over as soon as possible.
And May was like, James, if you think that I am going to let Wicked City Woman Rochelle in my house.
He was like, please, May, just do what I ask.
So we called Tara and Wicked City Woman Rochelle. Wicked City Woman Rochelle had on her snake print pants. I was like, y'all just want this child to look wicked, don't you? Anyway, she comes in, she sits down, she got an attitude. Tara looking like she don't know what's going on. Okay, what's this all about? Lady May is taking over. Well, I just want you guys to know that we just recently, like we just found out earlier today. Okay, I can't make that clear enough, but we recently came across some information. Of course, we're going to have to get the body exhumed and get the blood test taken care of to confirm everything. And Wicked City Woman Rochelle was like, can you please just let us know what is it? She says, well, it seems that Loretta Davis was your grandmother. Wicked City Woman Rochelle and Tara both looking around like, what? I was like, Wicked City Woman Rochelle, now how all of the research you done did on everybody else and know everybody else's business, why didn't you know that? This is the only story that makes sense, you know, and that the caretaker has confirmed. Tara asked him, well, does the caretaker know who our father is? Like, did you get more information? They were like, nope, this is all we got. And if it is proven to be true that that is your grandmother, then we are willing to accept that the property belongs to you through blood and precedes our will. Wicked City Woman Rochelle was like, and is Bishop still going to admit that he did it? And he was like, stop this! Wicked City Woman Rochelle says, I just want the truth. And he says, you can't have what you want because I didn't do it. We just can't convince Wicked City Woman Rochelle for shit. Okay, we at an impasse again, and then here comes Jacob rushing down the stairs. Charity just sent out a mass email saying that if you guys want to know what Bob Whitmore did with Edenville Lending, then meet me at the church at a certain time. All right, and so we better get on down there because ain't no telling what this girl about to do. Bishop looks at Tara and Wicked City Woman Rochelle, and he says, if you want to know the truth, then come with us down to the church. Wicked City Woman Rochelle steadily just rolling her eyes like, oh, here goes another show. So at the church, Grace, you know, she's waiting on Darius to come in, and he comes rushing in. He's like, I got it. And she was like, what did the family say? And he says, yeah, she said that Edenville Lending promised all of these things to the family. And then when the family missed one payment, okay, the fine print got their houses taken away from them. And evidently he did this to hundreds of families, okay? And Gladys' name is on all of these contracts. You know, he had to confirm that with Yusef, and all that seems legit too. All right, now where's Bob? And Grace was like, he's in the church trying to do damage control. Well, let's get on in this church and see what we talking about. Okay, so we see Bob in there, and he says, they done went back years and years and years. You know, he's talking to the board and some members of the church. He says, yeah, they done went back years and years and years. And they done got some old story. And, you know, the story's so old, you can't even do nothing about it now. And they done made you guys say all these things just so you can feel uncomfortable and not want to support everything that's going on, you know, with H&H taking over this church. Well, Darlene was like, excuse me, I got a question. Okay, Charity sent out this email about Edenville Lending. Okay, what exactly did they do? And he says, oh, Edenville Lending, they were, you know, out there to help the people. You know, we gave loans to many, many families that needed it, you know, and gave them money and gave them a second chance. You know, he's selling this whole story about how Edenville was for the people, not against the people. They weren't predatory loans. You know, all of that is a lie. And Charity says, well, then why is it that all of them were black? And he's like, well, who told you that? And they were like, yeah, it was 244 or something like that. Every single one of the families was black. And Gladys Dumars was helping you, which was Sidekick Phil's mama. Okay, now we really getting down deep into it. Sidekick Phil sitting up there with, the wrinkled asparagus there. And he just kind of looking around. Grace was like, you used Gladys to go after these people, all black people. And he was just like, hey, no, I did not use Gladys for nothing. If she was going after those people, I never told her to do that. I would have never approved anything like that. So now you blaming Sidekick Phil's mama? Now, you know you can't sit up there and let somebody blame your dead mama for nothing, right? So, you know, Bob was like, okay, hold on. I realize you people don't really know me. And Sidekick Phil jumps up. He says, yeah, but I do. Sidekick Phil says, you know, when he was growing up, he didn't know nothing about what his mother did. You know, all he knew was that she was hardworking. He said, but when she was on her deathbed and he was talking to her, he said she was really, really concerned that she was not going to go to heaven. All right. And he never could find out exactly what she was concerned about, but it was laying real heavy on her. She was very guilty about something that she had done. He says, now I'm starting to think that I know why she felt like that. So then Bob was like, wait a minute, son. He says, I'm not your son. Then he turns around and looks at old Fire Marshal Bill. And he was like, give me back my mother's ring. I thought he was about to say my motherfucking ring. I was like, not in the church, Sidekick Phil. She stood up like, how dare you? And he was like, give me back my ring. And she was like, fine. And she was like, throws it down on the ground like it was trash. And I was just like, bitch, now I know you fixing to I'd have grabbed her by the, you know, round the hair like this and been like, pick that shit up. But no, he's not gonna do that. So he has to get down on his knees and get the damn ring. And, you know, Charity is sitting there looking at the man that she loves, okay, on his knees trying to find the ring that his wife to be was so fucking disrespectful for. I mean, threw the ring down, child. So anyway, Bob now really has to try to get to these people. Listen. Let's stop talking about the past, you guys. Let's talk about the future. H&H came in and took over the church. You know, the Greenleafs was running it into the ground. James Greenleaf took advantage of you. And then we hear Bishop's big voice from the back.
Yes, I did.
They all gang, you know, the whole family with them. You know, Lady May holding his hand, they walking down the aisle. And baby Bishop lays it all out on the line for y'all.
I took advantage of your faith in me. Okay, your hope for yourselves. And I got fat and happy in the process. This whole thing is my fault. Just mine.
Then he walk up on the pulpit and he says,
the only reason why this building, and then he looks at Bob and he says, and it won't be torn down today, but the only reason why this building exists is because a woman named Loretta Davis left this property to me in a will, and I was able to use that collateral to get a loan.
And with that loan, you guys, he built Calvary.
Prior to that, it was going to a man named Daryl James. I didn't know that. But our lawyer at the time, Mac, told me, go and talk to Loretta Davis. She is childless and she's looking for something good to happen with her money.
So Bishop said he goes down there, he talked to Loretta. Loretta had all this property that she didn't know what she was going to do with. And basically Bishop looked the gift horse in the mouth. He went on ahead and got blinded by the, you know, what could happen with this property. He said he even thought about the fact that Daryl James had died in the fire. And, you know, he thought about it and, you know, but he didn't even worry himself about it no more.
I was blinded by the possibilities. I never considered the cost. And Daryl James paid for it with his life. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, Wicked City woman Rochelle, but it's the truth.
So then he just confesses.
Every day I let sins go untouched because I was so concentrated on succeeding. But it was a demon of wealth and power seducing me, and I fell for it. All I ever wanted was to show you the possibilities with God. But instead, I'm afraid that all I showed you was what was inevitable without him. And you all paid the price. My family paid the price. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I let you get held captive by this monster.
Corinne was like, no, Bishop, you showed us way more. And, you know, some of the other members started to stand up like, yeah, Bishop, you know, they on his side. I said, that's what you got to do, Bishop. You've been telling Lady May to lay it all out on the table, and that's what you needed to do. So the church is back on his side. Lady May is so proud of her husband, of what he just did. And what could Bob and his family do but walk their asses up out of there? So, of course, everybody is hugging and feeling good, you know, got the church back on his side. You know, it looks like they about to get Calvary back, and it's all good. Charity starts to sing, Amazing Grace, how sweet. And everybody starts to join it. I put a little extra stank on it for y'all. Anyway, Bishop is back in everybody's good graces. We see Wicked City woman Rochelle. She's leaving out. Only one in the vestibule, and then Grace sees her. And she says, oh, Wicked City woman Rochelle, are you happy now? And Wicked City woman Rochelle was like, am I happy? She was like, no. Grace was like, but you get the property. And she was just like, look, I ain't never wanted the property, okay? All I wanted was for your father to admit what he did. And now that he's done that, I'm done with it. Okay, she fine. And Grace was like, She says, oh, and also thank you. I know that you was the one who put Noah in, you know, contact with AJ. And she was like, yeah, I did. She said, because I wanted everybody to know that, you know, you wasn't no better than anybody else. You was probably worser. Shout out to Future for leaving, you know, your son behind like that. And Grace was like, yeah, well, message taken. But then Wicked City Woman Rochelle was like, but listen, anybody can change, right? Even an old low down dirty sinner like me. All right. And she turns around and walks out the door. I said, girl, you did that role. Let me tell you, Miss LaToya Luckett, honey, you did that role. If you was not Wicked City Woman Rochelle, I mean, this is definitely a character that I am going to remember. Anyway, so she's done. Next, we see Charity. She's walking down the hallway, pleased with herself. And we see Sidekick Phil. I said, nigga, now I know you not fixing to come around trying to grovel. He's like, wait up, Charity, wait up. And so she stops and he was just like, listen, I'm sorry. You know, you were right. He just wants to talk to her and see if they can work some things out because he loves her. And she was like, let me tell you something, Sidekick Phil. She said, never in my life, not even the father of my child broke my heart the way that you broke my heart. Okay, I will never trust you with said heart again. Now, thank you for what you did in there. Appreciate that. But never, ever, ever again. And she walks away. All right. And then we see the camera on her face and she's proud of herself. Like, I did it. I was like, girl, you're going to be back with him in another year. Just give us some time. Grace gets back in the car with Darius and he tells her that it looked like Bob is stepping down from H&H. And I mean, I don't know what this means for the property. I mean, does that whole sale fall through because it was, you know, obtained on false pretenses? You know, are we going to have a big legal battle about, we don't know about none of that. All we know is that Bob is done. So we can celebrate. So her and Darius, they kiss. I said, girl, what about Noah, who's expecting you to be moving in with him and little AJ any day now? But, you know, it gets hot and heavy in there. He was like, can you come on back to my place? And she was like, no, I got to go home because Sophia wants to talk to me about something. Okay, but maybe tomorrow? I said, yeah, girl, maybe tomorrow. We see Zora. She's packing, excited because she ain't canceled shit, right? Sophia is nervous though, and she's waiting for Grace to come in. So when Grace comes in, she's like, hey babe, you wanted to talk to me about something? And Sophia was just like, yeah, you know, that was really something at the church today. And Grace was like, yeah, but is that what you really called me down here to talk about? And Sophia was like, no. And she was like, well, I just wanted to say that I know it was stupid for me to send those pictures to old boy, and I promise I won't do anything like that again. Okay? And Grace looks at her and she says, what pictures? And I was like, what? Now that confused me because I was like, didn't Zora tell her that she told her about the pictures? I mean, I didn't think that she told her about some naked pictures or some titty pics, but I thought we mentioned pics somewhere along the line. But no, she said Grace don't even know what the hell she's talking about. So now Sophia just sitting there looking like, And then you guys, is the scene that I knew was coming. I thought it was going to be next week, but we got it today. So we see Lady May. She's in her boudoir. She is putting on her nice lingeries, you know, lace, and got her nice, you know, robe over it. And she's putting her perfume on. And yeah, now it's time, honey. So she goes in the doorway and she was like, James, okay, I know we said that we would wait till Flag Day to get married, but you know what? She ready to do it now. And so we see James, he's sitting up, so his back is to her. And I was like, okay, well, nothing can be wrong with him if he's sitting up, right? So she comes up to him, and when she hugs around him, you know, he just sort of sitting there real stiff. I was like, oh no. Oh no, Bishop. I knew right away he was having a stroke. Okay, she was just like, I was thinking about it, you know, and we can just go on and make this happen tomorrow, you know, sooner is better. And, you know, she's looking at the possibilities, looking forward, like how Bishop been saying all these last few days. And then she looks at him, she was like, what's wrong? And he couldn't talk. He was just sort of like, his mouth, you could tell it was twisted. And he like, one eye was half closed and all of this. And he was looking over. She said, what's the matter? You can't talk? You can't talk, James? Is everything okay? Wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. And I was like, oh, Bishop, no. She was like, what do you want? You want a pen? Yeah, he wants a pen. But she calls 911. She tells them that please get here, hurry. You know, she even calls out for somebody to help her, but nobody comes. And she was just like, okay, here's a pen. Okay, write down what you want. And he just writes down, I do. And she says, I do. Okay, James, I do too. She's like, I love you. You can't leave me. Oh my God, James, you know. So then it starts getting worse. You can tell that the stroke is getting worse. And he kind of starts to spasm. And she was just like, no, please don't leave me right now. She's like, you know, he kind of leans over and she leans over on top of him. She was like, please stay with me, my love. Please pray with me. You know, she's doing all of this. And honey, Bishop just goes and lays all the way down. And he just eyes open and just, I said, child, it's not as bad because I had been told y'all that Bishop was gonna die. I saw that, the first, second episode. I was like, this is it. So that took some of the blow off of it. But still, you guys, my heart was so hurt. I was so hurt because we done finally got everything in order. And now this. But see, what happened was Bishop had to get all that weight up off of him. You know, he was stressed out. He had to confess. Okay, and good thing he did, so he can make sure that he makes it into heaven. You know, when you're responsible for a flock of people, you know, you got to come clean, and that's what he did. And so I'm sure his soul is taken care of. But you guys, for the rest of the people that's behind, I was just like, oh, Bishop. All right, you guys, that is it. Next week is the finale. Anyway, you guys, let me get off of here, get this edited and up to you. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. itsrox. The channel is for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.